I'm Taylor Cassano. So, nice to meet the two of you.
Hi, I'm Angela. Nice to meet you.
I'm Erwin.
All right. I hope the driving up here wasn't too bad. I know I struggled a bit with the traffic this morning.
It was fine.
It was fine.
All right. So before we start the session, I would just want to go over a little bit about confidentiality. I understand that you two signed a lot of paper before meeting me here. And one of those paperworks that was discussing confidentiality. So that basically discusses your right as a client and also the limitations that you do have as a client. And would it be all right if I just explain that briefly before we decide to start our session?
That's fine.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So basically, if you two were to tell me that you knew of a child or elder getting harmed, we would have to go to authorities and let them know. The second is if a judge issues a court order telling our agency to release our records, we would have to agree with this court order. And of course, I will call you two and let you know that this is happening before the records do get released. And the last would be if you two were to tell me during one of our sessions that you were feeling suicidal or maybe thinking of hurting yourself or someone else, we would have to breach confidentiality here so we can get you the help that you two might need. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
All right, wonderful. So if you have any questions about that in the future, feel free to ask me. That's not a problem. I'm here to help you too. So a little bit about myself. So essentially I'm a resource broker. So I am here to help you find housing if you need it. I'm also here to help you, fix up your financial situation if that would be something you would be interested in. And, enough about me. I would love to learn about the two of you. So what brings you in here today?
Well, we live in a transitional housing facility with our 3 children currently. It's crowded and loud, and our kids are having a hard time studying, and we just need to move out.
I can see that this living situation is really difficult for you and your 3 children. So just to summarize, you're living in this transitional housing facility and your kids are having a hard time with studying, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and you're currently living there because unfortunately you lost your home. So, and you were living in a home previously?
Yes, we had our home.
Okay, would you mind telling me the events that led you to losing your home?
Well, I have a part-time job, and work is late overnight at a hotel. I'm making okay money, but Erwin was the main breadwinner, and he lost his job.
Okay, I'm so sorry to hear that your husband lost your job. That must be really difficult. Erwin, would you mind telling me where you were working previously?
I was a janitor.
Okay, and how did you unfortunately lose this position of yours?
Budget cuts and layoffs, and my seniority wasn't high enough.
I'm so sorry to hear that, Erwin. That must have been so difficult.
It happens.
He was a hard worker, and it was frustrating when he lost the job. We tried to pull it together, and we just didn't have enough time and not enough in our savings, so.
I can see that he's a hard worker right away. Both of you, your whole family has a lot of perseverance right now, and given the situation that you're in. And Angela, I know you mentioned that you do have a job. Are you happy at your current job?
I'm okay where I'm working. It gives me time to be with the kids during the day, but we're not happy with the housing.
Okay, I mean, first, that's great that you have a job that you enjoy. That's definitely a good outlet for you. And again, we can definitely look at different housing options for you and your family. So Erwin, are you currently looking at jobs?
Yeah, I'm looking pretty much every day. Every chance I get, I'm looking to go back to work. Who wants to be unemployed?
Okay, I hear you, Erwin, and I can tell you're really stressed about this situation in terms of losing your job. And as I said, we can definitely look at housing facilities and different job options for you. And how much I help you do is really up to you two as a couple and what you decide.
What kind of things can you do?
So, as I understand from what you've been saying in this session, you two are not happy with the housing facilities, correct?
Right, so can you find us a new place to live?
Definitely, I can definitely help you look for different housing options if this is something that you two would be interested in. Is this something that we might look at in later sessions?
Well, we're not happy where we are.
No, we're not.
Okay, then this is definitely something that we as a team can tackle on together. Um, Again, I'm here to help the two of you with whatever you need. So, based on what you've heard thus far in this session, how do you feel it's going so far?
I'm still not sure. I mean, you say you can find us a place to live, but are you gonna help us find the finances for it too? I guess I'm not really sure what it is that you're gonna be able to do for us, or what your agency does, or how you have connections.
Yeah, so we can definitely look at your finances together. Again, the three of us. We can look at different apartments, and we can see which apartments meet your finances. And yeah, we can definitely look at that together. How do you feel, Erwin?
Well, a couple of my feelings. One of my feelings is I don't see what the time of day we're at this meeting. Instead of being here, I think I could be out, looking for a job or something. Or I'm from the mindset or from the thinking that, a man should be the thinker of the family. I don't want to be here because to me, like, that's, meaning what can I do on my own? Where can I come from? You pick yourself up by your bootstraps, and I'm not enthused about being here. What can I do? I don't know, because I face the same troubles that I'm going to continue to face for the rest of my life with influx of immigrant populations and the cheap labor. It's making harder for general laborer like myself to be gainfully employed. So I have a certain degree of anger about that. So here I said, this isn't an unemployment agency, so here I am sitting here talking to you about something that I don't really believe have a whole lot of control over.
I hear you, Erwin, and I can tell that this financial situation is causing you a lot of stress. And as I said, I will, the best of my ability, help you to get back on your feet. And I just want you to know that you provided your family for years, and that losing this job was out of your control. It's not your fault. And you are still picking yourself up by your bootstraps. You're just, getting a little help. And I'm just making the lift a little bit lighter for you and your family in the end. And again, I want you two to know that accepting these services is completely up to the two of you. I would love to get to know you both more as a couple and individually, but if you decide to not accept these services, I completely understand.
I guess.
I mean, I want help with the housing, and it'd be great if you could get a job again.
Whatever she wants, then yeah.
Okay, so how about we write down the main concerns that you two currently have? I have a pretty clear understanding of what you two are worried about, but I think it would be better for you two to tell me of what you're concerned about so I can get some more clarity.
Well, we're not comfortable with the transitional housing facility right now.
Not having a job and not having money to provide for my family.
Okay, so those are some solid goals that we can definitely tackle on the next couple sessions. And it's great that you two have these goals in mind. It gives us a good foundation for us to work on later on together. And I understand that this is an uncomfortable situation for the two of you. You were independent, living in your own house with your own job, and now suddenly you're living in this transitional housing facility. And Erwin, I can see that this is especially uncomfortable for you. And is there any way I can make the situation more comfortable for you whatsoever?
Yeah, there is nothing about the situation comfortable. We live in a transitional housing. We once owned our own home, and now we're staying in transitional housing. We took care of ourselves. I took care of my family, so nothing about this is comfortable. The fact that it's uncomfortable got us sitting right here now, and we want to be comfortable. So nothing about this spells comfortability for me.
I hear you, Erwin, and as I said, I can tell that you two want to find different housing as quickly as possible. And we will work in that as a team to do that. And Erwin, I just want to thank you for being so honest with me and telling me these feelings that you're having. And we can definitely talk about different job opportunities for you, Erwin, specifically. We can spend next session doing that. We focus on that. So how are you feeling now?
Nervous, but a little bit hopeful.
Okay. Being nervous right now is completely understandable. It would be somewhat unreasonable, to tell you guys to not be nervous in this situation. Erwin, how are you feeling?
My bank account is the same as it was before I walked through the door.
Yeah, I do hear you, Erwin. And like I said, we will spend next session looking at different jobs, and I think maybe that may make you a little less anxious and less frustrated because we'll be actively looking at jobs for you. What do you think?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. So the action plan for next week, we'll be looking at jobs for Erwin. We'll spend a good amount of the session doing that. And in the meantime, if you guys have any questions during the week, feel free to reach out to me. I'm just a phone call away. You're not a bother whatsoever. If you have any questions or thoughts before we end this session, just let me know.
No, thank you.
I think we're good.
Okay, great. I'll see you two next week then.
How much